Welcome back. These agates have been tumbling in 6090 silicon carbide grit for 10 days now. Let's take a look and see how they are coming along. First up is this India agate. This was the cheapest one at $3 a pound. It's rounding off nicely. Not too much color in it, but I think it's going to be a beautiful stone when it's finished. Gonna get all this smoothed out. You can see the quartz inside there along with the banding. This is the wave agate. Not too interesting. You see those little sections of the chalcedony, but other than that, kind of a boring looking rock. This was only $4.50 a pound, so I guess what do you expect, right? But I'll keep it going, get all this smoothed out. Maybe it'll take a brilliant polish. Who knows? Here's the $7 a pound green moss agate. Like I said in the first part of this video series, I picked this piece not because it looks mossy, but because it was very, very dark green. I thought it might be interesting to tumble. So I don't expect to see much mossiness in this one. I do expect to see a good shine on it. Well, we'll know in a few weeks. I'm gonna get rid of all this, whatever, rock here, so there's just the green. Here's that Texas Canadian River plume agate. I have high hopes for this one. It's starting to smooth out. Got a long ways to go though. See lots of fractures and divots and whatnot. But I think it has lots of promise. This is that Zyamara at $8.50 a pound. Lots of fine banding in it. We'll see how it shines at the end. Got a long ways to go. Got to obviously get this all smoothed out right here. Look at that. What a mess. So I expect this to take several more weeks. Here's that $12 a pound chopstick agate. It is smoothing out nicely out here. I can see like little bubbles in there. I like that. Still has a ways to go. But of course, here's the money shot. Imagine if this gets smoothed out nicely and takes a great polish. So have all that fortification banding plus those little bubbles in there. This should be a very nice agate when it's done. The politically insensitive chopstick agate. Hey, this is the Moroccan agate. I like the way this one's turning out. From the first video, you could see just a little window into what this might look like. Now we can see, as it grinds away the outer skin, that it looks like it's going to have lots of interesting detail in it. So this one has quite a bit of potential to be a beautiful rock when it's finally finished and has a mirror polish on it. Looks like I might lose that right there, perhaps. We'll see. Here's that little Namibia agate. Just $12 a pound, but look at this little beautiful face on it. Still has a ways to go, obviously, to grind all this out. But I like what I'm seeing so far. That splash of color looks terrific. Just take a few more weeks, get all this smoothed out, and this will be good to go to polish. This is that $16 a pound Moroccan seam agate. Now you can get a better look at the agate goodness within the seam of this rock. Looks pretty cool. Upper and lower layer are grinding away, so we'll be left with just this. Get it nice and smooth and then polished. I'm happy to report this is the chub agate, the $18 a pound chub agate that is an actual agate, not like the first one that I attempted to tumble. I think I mentioned before, if you looked at the first video I made on tumbling agates, it was actually part 2. You could see that that one did dissolve. This one is an actual translucent agate. Don't know how interesting it's going to be once it's perfectly smooth and polished. Maybe it's just going to be a sort of a uniform translucent rock, which is fine. Or maybe it'll have something in there. Here's that Koimito pseudomorph agate, the first of 2 that decided to split during its first stage of tumbling in the coarse grit. So now we've got 2 of these to polish. 2 for the price of 1. And this stuff is $25 a pound, so yeah, it's not such a bad deal. Smoothing out nicely, all that quartz on top, the banding's looking good. Oh, we'll see. This one has lots of promise. Or I should say these 2 now have lots of promise. There's that $30 a pound island agate, which also decided to break apart on us. Another twofer. Look at that. So it's rounding off nicely. Has a ways to go, obviously. Several more weeks in coarse grit. But I think they're both going to be beautiful when they're done. Here's that dry head agate from Montana. See how it's rounding off? There's this large fracture right here. I could just crack that off now, but I'm not going to. It seems to stop there. I'm going to let it grind. I've got a ways to go on this one, and there's plenty of stone left for it to grind down. Looks like we're going to lose this chunk here anyway. So I predict this one's got, at least another month, maybe 2, before it can move on. Here's the little $35 a pound Malawi agate. Now this one looks kind of cool. It's very small, but you see that nice quartz window there with something going on inside. I've got to grind this one quite a bit more to get all this out of here, which makes me think that when it's all said and done, it's just going to look like a little piece of quartz, because as you can see on the inside, it seems like it's mostly quartz. But you know what? That's what the rock gives me, and that's what it gives me. Because my first goal is to get these nice and smooth. That's my priority when it comes to rock tumbling. I know everyone's different, and I respect everyone's opinions and everyone's desires, but my goal is to make these rocks perfect, which means I have to continue tumbling these until all of these little flaws are ground out. And in this particular case, that may mean that any little agate material on the outside is gone, but hey, you know what? I've got others. I've bought a few of these, and maybe the other ones will tumble differently. That's the great thing about this little hobby we have, is you just never know what the rock's going to reveal. There's that big old Crawley Ridge agate. $50 a pound for this stuff. This one's fracturing a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, and when I start this next tumble, I'm going to add a lot of filler material. So normally when I do my first cycle, I don't add any filler. I want to see how the rocks hold up. Clearly, they've gotten a lot smaller, so I'm going to need to add filler anyway. I'm going to add a bunch of ceramics, so the next few weeks in coarse grit, these rocks will not get punished so much, and we'll be allowed to slowly grind down. This looks like there's some color in this one. Check out this high-grade condor agate at $50 a pound. I think this one's going to be really beautiful when it's finished. I love the colors in it and the banding. It still has a ways to go, which means even more will reveal itself. I just think this is going to be very special when it's all said and done. Here's that $80 a pound Aqua Nueve. The skin is grinding away. Didn't take too long. And it looks like we're just going to be left with this sort of, I don't know, purplish tinted agate material with some banding. Fine with me. I think that's a good look. Still obviously has a ways to go. Got to get rid of all this stuff. Several more weeks. And finally, the one everybody's waiting for, the $150 per pound Black River agate from Argentina. Yep, Nature's Treasures in Austin sells these for $150 a pound. I gotta say, it's looking pretty good. Not really any color in it, which is disappointing, but I didn't expect to have color. The banding, however, looks awesome. I can see more of it going up this way. I didn't really notice that before. So once this gets all tumbled down and smoothed out perfectly, got a ways to go, and then I get it polished, I think this one will be very, very special. It's gonna take a few more weeks. Wish you didn't have that divot right there. So there you go. That's how they all look after just 10 days in the 60-90 grit. I'm gonna get them back in, add some filler, get them back on, and we'll check back again. Thank you so much for watching.